Welcome back to Cinemax. Today we are going to break down the 2026 horror thriller movie named Hokum, directed by Damien McCarthy, starring Adam Scott. This movie came out on May 1st, 2026, and it is not your typical ghost story. It looks like a witch movie on the outside, but deep down it is really about guilt, pain, and the things we carry with us for years without ever letting go. So let us get into it, from the very beginning, all the way to the ending, and we will explain everything. The movie opens with a scene that feels like it is from another world. We see a Spanish soldier from hundreds of years ago walking through a hot, dry desert with a small child next to him. They are running out of water. The man is carrying a glass bottle that has a rolled up piece of paper inside it. He tries to smash the bottle against the sand to break it open, but the bottle will not break. Then he looks at the child next to him, and you can see in his eyes that he is thinking about using the child to smash the bottle. He hesitates. He cannot do it. And just like that, the whole scene suddenly becomes words on a screen. We realize this is not a flashback or a separate story. This is the ending of a book that a man named Ohm Baumann is writing on his laptop. He is trying to finish the final book of a very popular trilogy he wrote about a conquistador, but he cannot figure out how to end the story. He keeps writing different endings and none of them feel right. Ohm is played by Adam Scott, and right away you can tell this guy is not doing well. He lives alone, he drinks, he stares at nothing. And then, while sitting at his desk, he thinks he sees something. A woman, standing in the shadows at the top of his stairs. He shines a light toward the stairs, but nothing is there. Just darkness. So who is this woman he keeps seeing? We will get to that. But first, Ohm goes through a box of things that belong to his parents who are both dead. Inside the box he finds two things, a gun and a card from a hotel in Ireland called the Bilberry Woods Hotel. Something about that card sticks with him, and he decides to travel to Ireland. Ohm arrives at the Bilberry Woods Hotel, and right away the place feels strange. It is old, quiet, and sits in the middle of the Irish countryside surrounded by dark woods. The first person he meets outside is Fergal, who works as the groundskeeper. Fergal is a quiet, serious guy who does not smile much. Inside, the owner of the hotel, a man named Mr. Cobb, is sitting with two small children, telling them a scary story. He is telling them about a witch who lives in the woods nearby. According to Cobb, this witch hunts lost travelers. She casts spells on them, puts heavy iron chains on them, and drags them into the underworld, a dark place beneath the ground where other lost souls tear at you forever. It is a very dark story to be telling children. Ohm interrupts Cobb and warns the children not to talk to strangers. Cobb does not look pleased. When Ohm checks in at the front desk, the man behind the counter is Mal. Mal recognizes Ohm's name right away because Ohm is a famous writer. Mal asked Ohm to sign one of his books for his son, but Ohm says no and walks away. Ohm is clearly not the friendliest person in the world. He then goes to the hotel bar and meets the bartender, a young woman named Fiona. She is warm, kind, and easy to talk to. Ohm asks her where he can find a big redwood tree near the hotel, because his late mother has a photograph taken in front of that exact tree. Fiona points him in the right direction. Ohm walks into the woods alone, finds the large redwood tree, and pours the ashes of both his parents at the base of it. He leaves the small containers with his parents' names written on them, inside a hollow part of the tree. It is a quiet, sad moment. He came here to say goodbye. On his walk back through the woods, Ohm runs into a strange man named Jerry. Jerry is sitting in the woods drinking milk mixed with magic mushrooms and digging a hole to bury a dead goat. He is a homeless man who lives in a van nearby. He is odd, but harmless and friendly. He offers Ohm some homemade moonshine. Ohm accepts. That evening, Ohm sits at the hotel bar with Fiona and they start talking. Ohm tells her about the ending he is trying to write for his book. He explains his idea where the conquistador tries to smash the bottle on the child but cannot do it, and instead just walks out into the desert alone and dies. Fiona tells him that ending is too sad, too dark, there is no hope in it. Then the conversation gets more personal. Ohm tells Fiona that his parents came to this very hotel for their honeymoon. She asks about them and Ohm quietly tells her that his mother was murdered and his father drank himself to death after that. He does not go into detail yet about how his mother died, but you can tell this is a wound that never healed. Ohm then asks about the honeymoon suite upstairs. Fiona tells him that Mr. Cobb, the hotel owner, claims the honeymoon suite is haunted by a witch. Cobb has it locked at all times and no guests are allowed inside. Fiona has asked Mal, who works the front desk, to get her the key because she is curious, but Mal is too afraid. The reason Mal is scared is because Cobb is his father-in-law and he does not want to cause trouble. Fiona also tells Ohm about the local legend surrounding the witch. If the witch chases you, the only way to protect yourself is to draw a chalk circle around your body on the ground. The witch cannot cross chalk. Then Albie, the young bellhop at the hotel, joins the conversation. Albie is a shy, gentle young man who tells Ohm that he once saw the witch himself. Ohm does not believe him and calls the whole thing Hokum. That is where the movie gets its name. Hokum means nonsense, something that is not real. Albie also tells Ohm that he loves his books and that he writes stories himself. He asks Ohm to read some of his writing. Ohm's reaction is cruel. He mocks Albie for being a bellhop and says something mean to embarrass him, even burning Albie's hand with a hot spoon. Ohm is dealing with a lot of pain inside and taking it out on others, and this moment matters later in the story. Later that night, while Fiona is closing up the bar, she notices Ohm left behind his wallet and his tape recorder. She gets worried and asks Albie to open Ohm's room with a spare key. When they open the door, they find Ohm. He has tried to hang himself. Ohm has a vision while unconscious. He sees the empty hotel, he sees his mother, and then he wakes up in a hospital bed weeks later. When Ohm recovers enough to go back to the hotel, the place is now closed for the season. Mal tells him that it was Fiona who found him and saved his life. Ohm wants to thank her, but Mal delivers terrible news. Fiona has been missing for weeks. The last time anyone saw her was at a Halloween party at the hotel. Police suspect that Jerry, the man from the woods, may have something to do with it, especially after they discovered that Jerry disappeared 10 years ago after his wife died in mysterious circumstances. Fergal also mentions he saw Fiona talking to Jerry the night she vanished. Ohm asks if anyone has checked the honeymoon suite. Fergal gets very uncomfortable and threatens Ohm, telling him to go back home and forget about it. But Ohm doesn't leave. Ohm goes into the woods to find Jerry. He finds Fiona's book sitting among Jerry's belongings. When Ohm confronts him, Jerry admits that he did kill his wife, but not the way it sounds. His wife was extremely sick and suffering, and he ended her life to stop her pain. He says Fiona was his friend and he would never hurt her. Jerry then tells Ohm something strange. He broke into the hotel a few nights ago to take some medicine from the cabinet. While inside, he saw the bell for the honeymoon suite ringing on its own. And then he saw Fiona's ghost standing there, pointing toward the honeymoon suite. Jerry believes Fiona is dead and that her spirit is trying to show him where her body is. He says he has a stolen key and he plans to go into the suite that evening. Ohm does not fully believe any of this, but he agrees to go with Jerry. That night, the two of them sneak into the hotel, but before they can reach the suite, Fergal catches Jerry and knocks him out. Fergal loads Jerry into his van to take him to the police. Now Ohm is completely alone inside the dark, empty hotel. Standing alone in the hallway, Ohm hears the bell for the honeymoon suite ring. He walks upstairs and goes inside. The suite is dusty and old and feels like time stopped inside it. Ohm looks around but finds nothing at first. Eventually, the silence and darkness make him fall asleep in the room. While sleeping, Ohm has a flashback, a memory he has been carrying his whole life. We see a young version of Ohm as a child playing with his father's gun. The gun goes off by accident, and it hits his mother. That is the truth Ohm has been living with. He did not mean to do it. He was just a child, but he accidentally killed his own mother. His father could never get over it and drank himself to death. And Ohm has been drowning in guilt ever since, unable to forgive himself, unable to finish his stories, unable to live his life fully. Ohm is woken up by Mal, who tells him to come on and leave. But as they are walking out, Ohm notices a small dumbwaiter built into the wall, like a tiny elevator used to carry things between floors. Mal tells him not to touch it, but Ohm opens it anyway. Inside, the dumbwaiter is Fiona's body. Mal panics and runs. He locks Ohm inside the honeymoon suite and traps him there. We now get a flashback that shows us exactly what happened to Fiona. On the night of the Halloween party, Fiona was wearing a rabbit costume. Mal gave her a cup of tea that he had secretly drugged. Fiona fell unconscious. Mal carried her to the honeymoon suite and stuffed her body into the dumbwaiter. Why? Because Fiona was pregnant with Mal's child. Mal is married and his father-in-law is the hotel owner, Cobb. Mal was terrified that if anyone found out, his entire life would fall apart, so he killed her to keep the secret. Back in the present, Ohm finds his tape recorder sitting next to Fiona's body. He plays it and hears Fiona's voice. She recorded a message, clearly after she woke up inside the dumbwaiter and realized she was trapped. In the message, she says she is pregnant with Mal's baby. She says she is going to try to find a way out, but if she does not make it, she wants whoever finds the tape to tell her parents that she loves them. It is a heartbreaking moment. Ohm needs to escape the suite. He starts searching the room for any way out. The television turns on by itself, showing a children's program, but the program is strange and creepy. There is a character in a rabbit costume on screen, a rabbit man. The rabbit man reads a letter out loud that sounds like it came from a child. The letter says that the child was playing with his dad's gun and it went off and killed his mother, and now his dad hates him. And he is scared. The rabbit man answers the letter by saying there is no help coming. You should be scared. This is Ohm's guilt playing out right in front of him, the deepest fear he has carried since childhood, telling him he deserves nothing and that no one is coming to help. But then something else happens. Inside an hourglass in the room, Ohm sees a tiny vision. The conquistador and the child from his book are inside it, pointing him in a direction. Ohm follows what they are pointing at and finds a hidden map showing emergency exits through the basement. He carefully removes Fiona's body and gets into the dumbwaiter himself, riding it down to the lower floors of the hotel. He ends up in a dark basement, a maze of old stone corridors beneath the building. He gets completely lost in the dark. He plays Fiona's tape again as he walks, and this time he hears more of her recording. She says she thinks someone else is down here with her in the dark. Ohm finds a piece of chalk on the ground. Then he sees something moving in the darkness. A figure. Something that is not human. He runs back to the dumbwaiter as fast as he can and rides it back up to the suite. At the top, he looks down the elevator shaft, and crawling up toward him from below is the witch. She is coming fast. The witch enters the room. Ohm is terrified, but he remembers what Fiona told him on that first night. If the witch chases you, draw a chalk circle around yourself. He draws the circle on the floor around his feet. The witch circles him slowly. She gets close, but she does not cross the chalk. And then she leaves. Morning comes. Mal returns to the hotel and finds Jerry outside, trying to get upstairs to find Ohm. Mal lies to Jerry and tells him he put Ohm in a taxi to the airport last night and sent him home. He also tells Jerry that the police are looking for him and he should leave now. Jerry starts to walk toward a car to leave. But then the honeymoon suite bell rings. Jerry stops. He knows something is wrong. He turns around and demands the key from Mal. Jerry goes upstairs and opens the door. Ohm comes out and tells Jerry the truth. Mal killed Fiona. Her body is in the room. But before they can do anything, Mal appears from behind Jerry and fires a crossbow bolt into the back of Jerry's head, killing him instantly. Then Mal starts a fire in the hotel to burn everything down and destroy all the evidence. He chases Ohm down into the basement. In the dark catacombs, Ohm starts to draw a chalk circle around himself again, afraid of the witch. But then Mal comes down the stairs with his crossbow. He finds his keys. And then the witch appears. The witch ignores Ohm, sitting safely inside his chalk circle. She goes straight to Mal. She wraps chains around him, and she drags him down through the floor and into the underworld. In the basement, Ohm then sees his mother. Her ghost appears in front of him. Ohm breaks down. He tells her he is sorry. He says it was an accident. He was just a child. He did not mean to hurt her. And his mother looks at him and tells him she knows. She says he cannot stay down there. He has to go. Ohm uses a small blade, the same one Fiona once used to cut him down after his suicide attempt, to break the chains around his wrists. He finds his way through the basement and heads toward the exit as the hotel burns around him. But the smoke gets to him before he can get out. He collapses near the exit. Then Fergal arrives. Despite everything that happened between them, Fergal pulls Ohm out of the burning building and saves his life. The final scene takes place back in the hospital. Ohm is recovering again. Albie, the bellhop, comes to visit him. Albie tells him that Fiona's body and Jerry's body were found in the ruins. But Mal is missing. His body was never recovered, which makes sense because the witch took him somewhere beyond this world. Then Albie says something that changes everything. He confesses to Ohm that after Ohm was cruel to him on that first night, he got revenge by putting some of Jerry's mushroom powder into Ohm's flask of alcohol. The same mushroom powder Jerry used to mix into his milk, the kind that makes you see things other people cannot see. Ohm looks down at his wrists and he can see the bruise marks left by chains. He remembers what Jerry once told him, that the mushrooms do not make you imagine things. They let you see things that are already there, things that other people just cannot notice. So was the witch real? Were the visions real? The movie lets you decide, but Ohm believes it. He believes he saw something true. He believes his mother was there. He believes he was forgiven. So Albie gives Ohm the photograph of his mother standing at the redwood tree. But Ohm tells him to keep it. He does not need it anymore. He finally let go. And then Ohm opens his laptop and writes the new ending for his book. In this ending, the conquistador cannot bring himself to hurt the child to break the bottle. Instead, the child breaks the bottle on the conquistador, sacrificing the man rather than the innocent. But then the child throws the bottle away completely and instead just hugs the conquistador. No more dark ending, no more hopelessness, just two broken people choosing kindness instead of destruction. And that is the ending of Hokum. So, what does this movie mean? On the surface, it looks like a witch story set in a creepy Irish hotel. But what it is really about is a man who accidentally killed his own mother as a child and spent his entire adult life hating himself for it. He became cold, rude, and self-destructive. He could not finish his stories because he could not imagine a hopeful ending for anything, including himself. The witch represents the guilt and the darkness that follows people who cannot let go of the past. The honeymoon suite represents the place where secrets are locked away. And Mal, the real villain of the movie, is far more terrifying than any witch because he is just an ordinary man who killed someone to protect himself. Jerry represents guilt too, but a different kind. He killed his wife out of love to stop her suffering and spent 10 years running from it. He died trying to do the right thing for Fiona, which gave him peace. And Ohm finally found his peace when his mother's ghost told him she knows it was an accident. That single moment broke the chain that had been wrapped around him his whole life. This is a slow and quiet horror movie. It is not full of jump scares or blood. It is the kind of movie that stays with you after the credits roll because it is asking you something. What are you carrying? What have you never forgiven yourself for? And is it possible that the person you hurt most has already forgiven you, even if you have not forgiven yourself? That is Hokum, a movie about a witch that is really about guilt, a haunted hotel that is really about a haunted man, and an ending that finally, after so much darkness, chooses hope. That is it for today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. We will see you in the next one.